Welcome to the Sellernomics podcast. In today's episode, we'll be featuring one of the many great tools and software available to Amazon sellers to help you grow your FBA business. A special thank you to our sponsor, Getida, the global leader in FBA auditing and reimbursements. Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at Getida.com/Sellernomics. Now it's time to show us what you got with your host, Lisa Kinski.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Sellernomics. Show us what you've got. My name is Lisa Kinski. I'm your host today, and I have on with me Ruben Amar from Brandable, and we're going to be talking about how to mastering profitable growth on Amazon using the Brandable tool, and we're going to get a demo of that in just a minute. But for right now, please say hello to Ruben. Ruben, how are you?
I'm great, Lisa. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful. Thank you so much, dear. So we are here to learn all about the Brandable tool. I'm going to go on ahead and pop it on the screen. And Ruben, it's time to show us what you've got.
Of course. Thanks for showing the tool, and I appreciate the time. By the way, you mentioned mastering versus growing profitably on Amazon. The product actually does both. So you are not wrong in the description, so don't worry.
The title of the episode is Mastering Growth. I'm just used to maximizing because of Getida. It's one of my common slips.
In order to maximize, we help you master. It's kind of like they both work together. But yeah, so maybe explain the audience why it does all of that. So, Brandable was really built with the mindset of helping, sellers that have large businesses, I would say complex businesses with multiple P&Ls, multiple geographies, with, from as much as 100 SKUs up to thousands of SKUs, just being able to better see their business in one place. And all of that connected through APIs to have live flow of information all the time. And really it was built to address this need. And we've met with thousands of sellers around the world who are still using Excel, who are still downloading reports from Amazon on different geographies with different languages, sometimes from the Amazon, for example, Germany. Those reports are in German. So basically spending hours and hours and hours getting those reports in one place. And oftentimes that not only is not the best time usage, but also it creates the risk of making mistakes, which makes sense because it's a very manual process. That was what Brandable was all about. So what I'm showing here is the dashboard. The dashboard is, think about it as almost kind of like diagnostic page where you will typically connect in the morning or connect in the evening at the end of the day, look at your overall business performance, and then we'll look at all the other features to dive in a little bit more details and try to understand the different drivers with the one goal that you mentioned at the beginning of this episode, which is mastering and maximizing your profits on the Amazon marketplaces. The first part of it is that you can connect to as many brands as you want. So it's typically very, very useful for example, companies like agencies, which we have as customers on our platform that have 50, 60 accounts that they need to manage. We can do that. So all of that lives here. For example, here you have 3 brands that are connected, but you can connect one brand, you can connect 20, 50, it doesn't really matter. It depends on what plan you choose with Brandable, and we'll get to that at the end. The second piece, and those 3 points filters at the top are called the global filters, meaning that whatever you select here will have an impact on what you will see in terms of data. So one filter is the brands. The second filter is the regions. So we provide 8 regions. You have North America and the EU, the 5 EU plus the UK. And then you have the currency. So we allow you to see everything in the software with different currencies that are related to the regions that you select. So once you've done that, you move to the dashboard. The dashboard is split in what I think is 3 different parts. You have the KPIs, you have the goal section, and then the alert section, allowing you to basically see the whole tool and your whole business in the dashboard. The first piece is the KPIs. The KPIs are all linked through that period selection. So you can select any period of time that you want, from the presets to the custom, and you can select any custom that you want. You can look at the comparison period. So let's just, for example, do the example of the last 30 days, which is typically what people look at. And then you select, for example, versus previous month to see the data difference. And from there, you have the KPIs here. The KPIs is you have like different coloring. We decide to put some coloring, not only because it's pretty, but also because it's helpful for people to know what KPIs they are looking at. Blue is finance, orange is advertising, purple is everything that is related to traffic. Right now, you can see 11 KPIs. You have much more KPIs that are all available here, and you can add them within one click. On top of that, this view that you see here is my view. I like looking at my numbers like that. If you wanted to move things around and have your own view, you can literally just move the blocks around. And it's very, very simple, very customizable. And whenever you click that again, that will be your default view. What I want to really emphasize is the idea that it's a very, very fast tool and very accurate tool. The reason for that is because we build our own APIs. So all the APIs that are basically fueling the data from your own Amazon accounts are all proprietary to Brandable. And so that allows us to have a very smooth and rapid experience with 100% accuracy. So for example, just to give the audience to see how it works. Let's say if you wanted to move from all brands to only, let's say, one brand. And we wanted to only, focus on, let's say, Canada as an example. So we will look at Canada, and then we want to see everything in Canadian dollars. So you check on Canadian dollars, and now suddenly the whole experience has become Canada focus, one brand focus in Canadian dollars. And that took a few seconds. That normally will take a few minutes, if not hours, to any seller out there. So just going back to all brands and going back to all regions again and USD. The piece that I mentioned here is the bestsellers. The bestsellers is basically like, think about it as a summary of all your best performing products within the brand that you've selected and within the time frame that you selected here. And we give you a few data points. We give you revenues, units sold, contribution margin, EBITDA, and contribution to change. What I call EBITDA is what some people call in the Amazon jargon seller discretionary earnings, or some investor call it contribution margin or PC3, but we call it EBITDA, which is what we think is brandable EBITDA. The way it is ranked, the bestsellers, is by whatever you want. So for example, people look at it by revenues. So this is your highest generative revenues products within the time frame you selected. But if you wanted, for example, to see your highest EBITDA generative products, it could be very different. You just select EBITDA, and those will be ranked by your highest generative EBITDA, which is of course very helpful to see. So that's basically the KPIs. You would spend typically a few minutes, maybe a little bit more, to look at your KPIs and your trends. Then you will move to goal. And the goal section is simple, but at the same time very visual and helpful. It basically shows you how you're tracking on a daily basis versus your monthly goals. So think about an agency, for example, that has hundreds of customers. They have goals with them on a monthly basis for revenues and profits. And so instead of running it on their own, right now they will have a tracker that can basically tell them on a daily basis, that they can even share with their customers if they want, how they're tracking versus the goal that they set with their clients. And that's a very helpful tool to see how much more efforts or not, or how much margin do they have versus their goal before the end of the month. And finally, the alerts, more to talk about in the next couple of minutes, but this is the place where our customers will receive alerts as soon as certain things happen to any of their product. So think about out of stock risk, think about overstock risk, EBITDA thresholds that have been reached, over tacos, under tacos, ACOS issues. All of that can be manually configured by the customer. And once it's done, the alerts will appear here and in more detail in the alerts in the alert center. That's the dashboard in a few minutes. As you get through the dashboard, then you have all of the other features. And instead of showing you every single feature, I will explain you what a typical customer of ours will do in using Brandable. So first, the dashboard. Then they would typically go to the product catalog. Product catalog is a very, very cool place where you can see all of your products with the major KPIs of every one of your products. It's fully downloadable in a CSV file, and you can see all of your products, parent or child ASIN, and the KPIs within the time frame you selected. Why is it so helpful? Because if you want to be able to see within one list horizontally your performance, your product's performance in one place, that's the place to go. And if you see any problem, you will double click on one of them and go to the product details. So here, for example, you will look at all of the brands, all regions, USD, but let's say you only want to focus on the USA because that's the main market for you. And you want to look at, for example, only child ASIN. You don't want to look at the parent ASIN. Here's the list in the last 30 days, because you had already selected last 30 days in the first page, of all of your products and their respective, KPIs. So gross revenues, gross margin, EBITDA margin. You have then some advertising KPIs. You have traffic KPIs. And so what's helpful, for example, here is that you can go one by one. And for example, as an owner of this brand, I will see that I have an issue with this product because it is losing money for a certain reason that we will dive into. But that's a very quick way to see that in the last 30 days, one of my major revenue generative product is actually losing money, and I need to understand why. And so from the product page, and as you saw, you can filter by geography, you can filter by product groups. So the product groups is something that we give the users the opportunity to do, is to create subgroups within their accounts, meaning that they can create as many subgroups of products as they want. Think about bestsellers, think about new products, socks, black socks 2023. You have unlimited number of tags, we call them tags, that you can create, and as a result you can see anything in the tool for only this subset of products that you create. So that's very helpful for example, for large sellers that have thousands of SKUs, let's say like an apparel business that has medium-sized socks, small-sized socks, and across different colors. For them, it's very hard to see proper P&Ls or proper results for only this subset group of products. So now they can do it with Brandable, because then they can create a subgroup of product and see all the data for that. But so from this specific product, going back to my example, you click here and it gets you to the product page. Every single product in Brandable, as soon as you connect your account, has those pages created. In this page, you will find product details, so with high-level details of the product. You will have your inventory position, and you will have the manage alerts. Now, what's really cool about this product is that you can do two things with it. You can view your P&L, and then you can run a simulation. And I want to touch base on the P&L, because you remember the problem with this product was that it was losing money. So that's trying to understand why it is losing money. So if you click on View P&L, what the product does automatically is that it will show you the P&L of that specific child ASIN for the period of time that you selected, which was the last 30 days, so that you see what's going on. You remember this minus 9.6%? Here you have it in full detail. And what's really cool about this P&L tool, which is, by the way, my favorite feature, is that you can see line by line P&L from 20 brands down to one brand, to one specific groups of products, to one single child ASIN, and within a matter of few seconds. So in this specific situation, you see that product is actually pretty healthy on a gross margin, but as you scroll down, you see that they pay a lot of fees in FBA, and they spend a lot in marketing, which means that as a result, they are losing money. So that's something to keep in mind, is that this product, there's something to look at in terms of FBA fees. So probably some work to be done from the customer to see whether the FBA fees are right for this product. So maybe they have a problem with size, maybe they have a problem with Amazon that misqualified them or misclassified them for whatever reason. That's number one, place I would spend time on. And two, I would want to look at my advertising KPIs over time and see why it's so high in the last 30 days. And I'll show you in the analytics. But just on the P&L, just to show our listeners how fast it is. So again, let's assume that you want to look at only one brand, so Lusso Gear, and you want to see North America, right? So US, Canada, Mexico, and you want to see it in USD, and you want to see it for, again, let's say, let's just select, for example, the last 30 days, which is what we selected here. You run P&L, and again, within a few seconds, you have a super, super detailed line by line P&L. Let's say now that you don't want to see only those regions, you want to be able to see all your EU regions. So Germany, France, Spain, Italy, and you want to be able to see it in euros. Okay, and you run P&L, and you will get your P&L in local currency, line by line, within a few seconds. So that's just to show how quick and reactive the product is, and we give much more details in the tool on where the data comes from for each assumption that we make and each time period that I'm not going to get into. So that's the P&L. Moving to the second big feature of the product, which is the analytics. Analytics, what's helpful with analytics is that the P&L shows you the details line by line on a sort of like time frame that you select. What the analytics does is that it shows you your KPIs over time. And so I just want to go back to our all brands, all regions USD and show you how it works. So you will typically select up to 4 different KPIs and data points. So you remember this product had issues with advertising. So let's just look at Lusso Gear. Just want to show you Lusso Gear, just overall performance in terms of analytics. So we look at gross revenues. I want to see some, ACOS number. I want to see some CPCs number because that will tell what's happening. And I want to see it in the last 30 days versus previous months daily. You can, of course, change it as you want. As you click on analytics, what you will be able to see is within a few seconds again, those KPIs in the last 30 days on a daily basis, which is what you selected here and what you selected, here. If you want to see those KPIs versus previous month, which is what you selected here, you just need to click on those cross and you will be able to see those data over time. It's a little bit crowded, so that's why we typically by default do not select those. But if you want, you can do it within a few clicks. And what you can see, if you want to see it over time, you see that there hasn't been a lot of big changes and it's not very clear yet what's been happening. You can clearly see that, for example, if you were only to look at, the CPCs over time, you can see that the CPCs of this year actually are a little bit smaller than last year. So it's not a CPC issue. It has to be something else. So it's probably an ACOS issue. And so then you can look at the ACOS numbers. But not only you can see that for the brand, what's really helpful is that we also give you the detail by product. So for every single one of your product within the brand that you selected, in this case, Lusso Gear, you will have those KPIs of this period versus last period and the delta. And you can see it by region. So you have the countries here by product, and you have 994. This is downloadable in CSV as well. Finally, and I want to get to the simulation, which is kind of like a machine learning tool. So if I go back to this product that was losing some money, the second thing that you can do is something called run simulation. So simulation, think of it as the machine learning tool that we build that allows you to basically look at impact on certain pricing decisions that you're making on your P&L. So we look at the different promotions types, so lightning deal, 7 days promo, coupon, and any product in your portfolio. In that case, that's the product that was losing money. So here, for example, let's look at any of those promotion. I would say that lightning deal is probably the one people use the most. So first of all, Brandable will tell you, yesterday you were selling this product at $28.95. So let's say that we want to run a promotion that will be at $24.99, and you expect to sell, you want to simulate it with 100 units sold, and you select any date in the future. So let's say that you want to select, I don't know, Sunday, April 7th. When you run simulation, what it does 2 things that are, I think, very important and very, very like time savings. On the left side, it's literally just showing you the impact on your P&L. Literally just like, if you were to achieve these results, so selling 100 units in a lightning deal at $24.99, this will be your P&L. On the right-hand side, it will show you what would be the forecast if you were to sell it on that specific day in the future. And so what's interesting here is that you can see it on the P&L. If the first thing that you see is that in the last 7 days, on average every day, when you were selling at $29, you were selling 70 units and you were losing $188. If you were to sell 100 units in that promotion for $24.99, you will actually be losing more money. And why? Because this product specifically has an issues around contribution margin. And specifically in the last 7 days, it's been deteriorating more and more. And so this product actually is every day declining more and more. And I can see that from the 22% that I see here versus what I saw in my previous last 30 days was a little bit higher than that. So that just showed the user that like this product most likely, even in the best case scenario where you would sell 100 units, will most likely not be the best candidate to run a lighting deal. The second piece that it does is that a machine learning tool that is based on your historical data, when a customer joins and connect to Brandable, we go back 2 years. We get 2 years worth of data and we look at all the pricing decisions, all the promotion, we look at marquee event, we look at a bunch of different things. And from there, we calculate elasticity. And more importantly, the product can tell you based on the last couple of days of momentum and sales momentum, what do we think you'll be able to sell on that specific day, on that Sunday, April 7th. And what we can see is that actually this product has a declining sales velocity, which shows that actually in the future, we expect it to even sell less than what it sold in the last seven days. So that's even a bigger reason to be worried about running a lighting deal like that, because most likely you will be non-profitable versus what you did. So that's a very quick way for customers. And I cannot even emphasize enough how many times have I seen, the most sophisticated sellers out there running promotion without even knowing the impact on their EBITDA or without even having any sort of forecast in the future. And so they're typically losing money on lighting deals. And that's I would say that's one of the biggest driver of increase in profits from our customers when they finally have access to this type of tool, because suddenly they can have visibility on what's profitable, what's not profitable, what is driving the profitability, what I should do, should I run a promotion, which type of promotion should I run, and all of that within a few clicks on the platform. So that's basically what the tool is all about. There's a lot more to unpack, of course, but I know we don't have all the time in the world. We have different plans, pricing plans that I can walk through. But I'll stop here in case there's more question.
No, I definitely a lot of power to the tool in just the short 20 minutes that we've spent going through it, right? It's immediately visible the positive impact that this can have to a seller's account. Share with us a little bit about who would be an ideal customer for you. For any seller that's watching this and they say, this looks like a really good tool, how would they know if they are a good fit to work with y'all? And please walk through the pricing that you had mentioned before.
Sure. So can you hear me? Yeah, should be hearing me.
Yes.
So the tool, the way we build the tool, and what's interesting is that it is suitable for any e-commerce operator that is selling on Amazon. Which is great, because originally it was built for complex businesses, meaning sellers that had more than 5 to 10 million of revenues on Amazon, agencies, and large DTC companies that were selling on Amazon. As we kind of build the tool to make it more flexible in terms of pricing, in terms of features that are accessible, we actually have sellers as customers that are doing $1 to $2 million a year, and bigger sellers that are doing more than $100 million of revenues a year. And so honestly, at the end of the day, everyone can use Brandable. It really depends on what type of structure and plan you select that will be more suitable for you. We wanted purposely to make the tool available for everyone, because I do believe that any seller that sells on Amazon would benefit from Brandable. It's just that at different degrees, they will need certain features. On other, they will need more features.
And so how does the pricing structure work out then?
Can I share my screen to show the pricing? I think that would be even more.
Of course.
It will be even easier for everyone to follow. So let me just share my screen so that you can see. Present. I was already sharing my screen. Sorry. See.
That's okay.
Can you see the pricing page?
Yes.
Perfect. So the way it works is that it's really based on the gross revenues you're making on Amazon in the last 12 months. So what we've built is that we have three different. So the first thing that any customer of ours will do on the website, they will select their pricing range. So sorry, the revenue range. So 1 million, less than 1 million, 1 to 3, 3 to 5, etc. It goes up to more than 15 million. From there, they can select three different plans. The basic, which is the free version of the tool, allows you to get access to only three features. So it's more limited in terms of what it has access to, and it is only available for companies that are making less than $5 million of revenues a year. Anyone that does more than $5 million of revenues a year, they will only be able to select either the Pro or the Enterprise. The free version is really for us to allow even the smallest seller out there to get used to Brandable, so that when they are big enough to pay a certain price per month and they really want to have access to a little bit more features, they are comfortable in paying, the smallest one is $49 a month. The big difference between the free version and the Pro version is that on the free version, you have access to only 3 features out of 6, while on the Pro one, you have access to all of the features. There are other features that are included in the free that are not included, that are included in free, that are included in the Pro, and that are included in the Enterprise, that I will not give a lot of details, but it's really a matter of like how many users you have, which geographies you have access to, how many brands per account, et cetera, and the type of support you want to have. But let's say that you're a small seller, you're making, let's say $2 million a year, and you want to pay per month, but you want to try the free version, for example. So you will try the free version, and then you want to move to the Pro. The Pro, which gives you access to everything, with up to 3 brands, with access to all geographies market, is only at $99 a month. But if, for example, you're a brand that does more than $15 million, well, we will make sure that you have the most customizable experience. And so we typically ask to reach out to us and talk to one of our sales reps. So it's really based on your revenues and your need, but we wanted to make the plan as flexible as possible to fit your business needs so that everyone can enjoy it, from the smallest business that is just starting on Amazon up to the agency that has 100 brands and hundreds of millions of dollars of revenues managed per year.
Fantastic, Ruben. And if anybody has any questions about what you shared today, or they want to learn more about Brandable, where can they get in touch with you?
Sure. So first of all, they can go on our website, getbrandable.com. It's the place. Hopefully there's enough information there that they will know. If they have more questions, they can reach out on my email, ruben@getbrandable.com. But hopefully the website is clear enough where we have resources with like a ton of videos that we put together that show the tool, feature by feature, how to best use it. They can reach out to our sales team if they have any needs, or they can just do the onboarding. Every single plan, well, whether it's the free one, well, the free it's always free, but whether you go to the Pro or the Enterprise, everyone has a 14-day free trial. So they will get access to the tool for free for 2 weeks. Then from 2 weeks onward, they will have to get into one of the plans. But everyone at the end of the day can try Brandable for free for a short period of time, which is super helpful. And through the pricing and plan page on getbrandable.com, they can reach out to us, they can sign up, look at the demo, and would love to have everyone sign up. And honestly, our customers have been very, very happy with the quality of the product, the speed of the product, and more importantly, and some people forget about it, Lisa, you would know because you're doing so many interviews with software providers, the quality of customer service. This is maybe the number one priority for me, is that if everyone has an issue, has a questions, as a product feature, they are listened and heard within a few minutes. And that's, we are very proud of the quality of service we're providing to our customers.
That is hugely important. I think we would all agree. Again, if you guys are interested in learning more, you can visit getbrandable.com or reach out to Ruben directly at Ruben, RUBEN, at getbrandable.com. Ruben, thank you so much for being here today and sharing this with us. It was a fantastic demonstration and definitely a very valuable tool for all of the sellers listening.
Thanks for having me, Lisa. I appreciate it.
Of course. And thank you so much for everybody who tuned in today. If you liked what you saw, please be sure to give us a thumbs up, share your thoughts with us in the comments, subscribe to the show, and we will see you all on the next one.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Sellernomics podcast. Special thanks to our sponsor, Getida. Did you know that Amazon probably owes you money for FBA reimbursements? Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at Getida.com/Sellernomics. Be sure to join us again next week for more great tips on how to grow your business. And thanks again for listening.